Am I the a-hole for refusing to sit at the kids' table at my brother-in-law's wedding? Recently, my husband and I were invited to my husband's brother's wedding. For some context, we don't live in the same country as his family. We live in the US and they live in the UK. Also, we're currently trying to save for a house, so we really weren't planning on going on a holiday this year. Truth be told, I'm rather excited for this trip overseas. I love his family in the UK, but my husband is stressed as it's going to cost us a lot of money. Upwards of $5,000, including flights, hotel at the wedding venue, trains, etc. Also, for some more important backstory, my husband's family hate each other. There was a nasty divorce that led to his parents not speaking to each other for years. Most of the siblings, including my brother-in-law, sided with his mom in the divorce. However, my husband has made it a point to not pick sides and is very close to both parents still. Both parents have new families with younger kids. Now, 3 months ago, my husband's mother told us that we'd be sitting at the table with all the other siblings. Most siblings are under 15 years old. The youngest is 8. My husband asked if we could potentially sit with his dad's side of the family or his grandparents who we're very close to. However, his mother told him that we're the only neutral family members, therefore we need to sit with the siblings, as this is their first time meeting. The wedding party is worried about potential family drama arising. My husband and I were fine with this, as long as we're sitting together. However, a few days ago my brother-in-law asked my husband to be a groomsman, to which he accepted. I was thrilled for my husband as he isn't super close to his brothers. I asked where I'd be sitting now, since he was moved to sit at the wedding party's table. My husband just shrugged and said they likely won't move tables around that much. I then asked the bride, who said I was still sat with the siblings. I asked politely if I could be moved to the table with the grandparents. Again, I'm extremely close to them. The bride politely told me that I'm the only neutral party who's met all the siblings, so I could manage the questions and potential arguments arising. Again, this is the first time they were all meeting. I told her that I appreciate this is something that's worrying her, but I'm not spending thousands of dollars to be a babysitter. She said she understood, but the seating is final. We argued a little more, but she ended the argument by saying, I should be happy to be sitting with the kids because I work with kids and should be flattered the family trusts me enough with this responsibility. I began to argue, but the bride snapped that if I hated kids this much, I shouldn't have become a teacher. Please don't get me wrong, I love his siblings, but they're all at least 15 years younger than me. I do love kids, but I want to relax and have a good time at this wedding. I also forgot to mention, there will be cousins and kids from the bride's family at the table as well. I just made up my mind. I will not be sitting at the kids' table. I'm going to wander the reception, drink, and have a good time. I'll be pulling up a chair with the grandparents. I don't think it's a big ask for me to be moved to a different table, but maybe I'm wrong. My mom and husband think I'm overreacting and should just sit with the kids, but my coworkers and friends think I shouldn't be forced to babysit and manage potential family fights. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. Just to clarify a few things. 1. Unfortunately, we've bought the plane tickets already and they're not refundable, or else a refund would have been my first choice. 2. They never formally labeled this table as the kids' table. They refer to it as the siblings' table. My husband has 3 younger brothers, and they're adults. None of them are sitting at the siblings' table. This table is completely made up of half-siblings that are aged 15 and under. I'm the one calling a spade here. Now to the update. I showed my husband this thread and he agreed with you all that I'm being treated unfairly and that the bride was clearly using me as free childcare. However, it turns out the issue was deeper than just wanting free childcare, so bear with me. This is going to be a long update as lots of stuff happened yesterday and this morning. But before I get into the update, I need you all to understand some background info. My husband is the second oldest in the family, with 2 younger full brothers. He has 5 half-siblings. The oldest sibling, we'll call him John, cut ties with the family completely about 5 years ago. My husband and I met 10 years ago while I was studying abroad. We moved back and forth between the US and the UK for 6 years before we eloped and moved permanently to my home state. His mother has never been supportive of my husband's decision, but she's come to terms with it over the years. His 2 younger full brothers have always been giant mama's boys. They both live within a 5-mile radius of their mom's house. My husband is very good at setting boundaries with his family, which has led to tension between him, his mother, and brothers. The brothers would often make awful comments about how my husband loves their father more than their mother, and that he broke his mother's heart when he moved away. His brothers have never outright been rude to me, but it's blatantly obvious I'm not in their inner circle. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of all the fights between my husband, his father, his mother, and his brothers, but to sum it up, his brothers almost always choose their mom over their dad. During Christmas, birthdays, family vacations, and the rare occasions where they go to their dad, it usually ends with someone making an inappropriate joke about the divorce, followed by a massive blow-up, to which my husband always gets in the middle trying to solve the problem. My husband and I mostly spend time with my family as they're close by, but when we do visit his family, we try to divide our time with each family fairly. The bride and groom are very close with his mother, so close that the bride asked my husband's mother to walk her down the aisle. Okay, now to the update. My husband and I had a video chat with the bride and groom yesterday to address our concerns. For those who told me to just sit at the table because they are likely stressed with the wedding planning, I helped plan my sister's wedding, so I know moving one seat is not a big deal. And I only asked because my husband wasn't sitting with me anymore. The bride just said that she confirmed with the rest of the family that the siblings will all be under my care during the reception. I asked if it'd just be my husband's siblings, to which my brother-in-law said, "We don't know yet. There are other family members coming, and cousins who might want to sit with their cousins." I then said, "So this is the kids' table?" And my brother-in-law said, "That's not important." I finally asked, "Are you going to blame me if any family drama comes up?" And my brother-in-law just said, "That's why you're there, to prevent family drama." So, you were all right about that. Okay, so this is where things got interesting. For those who said we were being punished. Bingo. The bride added my mother-in-law into the chat. She told me to stop being selfish, and that if I had a problem with being at the siblings' table, it's clear I have a problem being in the family. She also said, if I'm not willing to mediate potential family-related questions and problems that might arise, I clearly don't care about my brother-in-law and his bride, and that I want to create problems on their big day. My husband was shocked and asked what made her say that. My mother-in-law then said that it's clear I've been manipulating my husband away from her family. She accused me of siding with his father in the divorce, and that ever since my husband met me, we've been spending more time with his father's side of the family. I want to mention that their divorce happened almost 20 years ago, and we rarely talk to his father. Her only evidence to this accusation was that I'm not willing to openly side with her. I was completely shocked by these accusations. My husband said that these accusations are rude and inappropriate, and demanded my mother-in-law apologize or he'll be cutting her off, like John did. My mother-in-law started crying. The bride chimed in that we never included them in our wedding, we eloped, and that this was my opportunity to prove myself as a dedicated member of the family. Obviously, this blindsided me, as I genuinely had no idea they felt this way. I always go above and beyond for Christmas and birthday gifts, and when we visit, I ensure I dote on their children, and I always take the ladies of the family out for a ladies' brunch. I can understand our wedding situation is upsetting, but if my mother-in-law had voiced this to us 4 years ago, we would have hosted a small ceremony or family celebration. My mother-in-law added that since I wasn't willing to deal with the family drama at our wedding, I should be willing to deal with it for my brother-in-law. I just sat there, jaw on the floor. My mother-in-law snapped, saying she knew the type of person I was from the second I excluded her from her son's wedding, that I'm a selfish manipulator who wanted to steal her son from her and destroy her family, and that my husband is enabling me by not insisting I put the family's needs before my own enjoyment and babysit the kids during her other son's big day. She was hoping my meltdown would show my husband what kind of person I was. Needless to say, we ended up fighting for a few more minutes before my husband slammed the computer screen down. My husband apologized for his family and reassured me that he knows none of those things his mother said were true. We turned off our phones and had a nice date night. John, my husband's older brother, got in contact with us through Instagram this morning. His wife gave me a call, and we talked for hours about what happened. Apparently, the reason they left the family was because my mother-in-law did something similar to John's wife, Sandy. Sandy didn't want a big wedding due to drama on her family's side and decided to have a small ceremony with their friends. She invited my mother-in-law, who refused to attend because my father-in-law would be there. My mother-in-law threatened Sandy that she'd make sure John left her if Sandy didn't exclude John's father from the wedding. Sandy didn't listen and went through with their wedding as planned. My mother-in-law accused Sandy of cheating and baby-trapping John. Sandy was pregnant at the time. My mother-in-law stalked Sandy and took photos of her out with her friends and with her brother, sending them to John as proof of her infidelity. She then posted these photos to Facebook, captioning it, "Caught you, you cheater." Relatives began harassing both John and Sandy. They had to move away and block everyone, and haven't been in contact with mother-in-law's side of the family ever since. I don't remember this at all, as I'd only been with my husband for a year, and he didn't want me involved with his family drama. Obviously, I feel awful that this happened to John and Sandy, but they assured me they forgive both me and my husband. Long story short, Sandy and John are still in contact with his father, which is how they found out about our situation. John and my husband had a long chat this morning, to which my husband apologized for enabling his mother. My husband has gone no contact with his mother and brothers, for now, and we're going to use our trip to visit my old friends from uni and visit John and Sandy. I'm really excited to meet them. This small problem ended up revealing a much larger issue. I'm very thankful to this community for pushing me to not back down. Sometimes I can be a bit shy and overly forgiving. Looking back, the signs were all there and I just ignored them. I'm very hurt, as I really wanted to have a relationship with my husband's family, but I know I deserve better. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please consider helping my channel grow by liking and subscribing. See you in the next one, and have an amazing day.